Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to the next session in the IlliniCloud webinar series featuring the Ed Leaders Network. As people probably know, my name is Jat Pannu. I'm the Business and Operations Lead for the IlliniCloud, and joining us today we have Arlin and Vicki, who will be taking us through some of the great stuff that they're doing and kind of answering any questions that you may have. Speaking of questions, this is an interactive session, so feel free to post any questions you may have into the chat window, and based on the nature of the question, we can either answer them in stride or kind of queue them up for addressing them at the end of the session. For those people that aren't too shy and would like to kind of voice your questions, no restrictions there either. Go ahead and just jump on the mic and go ahead and answer your questions. As a reminder, the IlliniCloud sessions are recorded and they're posted to the IlliniCloud YouTube channel. So you just go out to YouTube, type in IlliniCloud, and you'll see a channel listed in the search results. You just click on that and you'll see this as well as all the other recordings out there. Always look to the announcement emails for any upcoming webinars, but some of the ones that you could anticipate are Power My Learning, EdFi, and some others, especially in the special education space. So with that, Arlin, Vicki, please feel free to introduce yourself and share your screen.
Okay, will do. This is Arlin Peebles, the Online Professional Development Director for the Illinois Principals Association. I've been with IPA for 8 years now, not always in the online space, but for the past couple of years, I've been managing the Ed Leaders Network, which is what we're going to walk you through today.
And I'm Vicki DeWitt. I'm the online PD project manager. That basically means that any of the big projects that come up, I manage those and take care of making sure the jobs gets done. I've been here 3 years. Previous to that, I was the Area 5 Learning Technology Center Director, and I was also chairperson of the IlliniCloud for 5 years.
Very good. So what we're looking at now is edleadersnetwork.org. This is our brand new website that we just launched in July. We updated everything in July. We updated the website, the database, and the learning management system, the learning management system is what we'll focus on for today. But just a quick walk through the website. You've got our homepage here. Down below, you've got some testimonials that you can read from other satisfied ELN users. Below that, we have our featured courses. We break the courses down into several different topics: leadership and management, teaching and learning, curriculum instruction, legal and legislative, and of course, for this time of year, in early September, we've got our mandated trainings, which are very popular. Below that are some quick links to the community. Beyond just the online learning that Ed Leaders Network has, we also feature a very dynamic collaborative community where you can participate in discussions, you can create your own blogs to share, and even upload resources to be shared in a private ELN community. We did not create ELN alone. We partnered with 12 other state principal associations. We call those our ELN affiliates. As you'll see as I scroll through, we've got a lot of affiliate associations from the Midwest, and are also excited to have Vermont joining us from the East Coast and Washington joining us from the West Coast. And so we partner with these organizations to create content for Ed Leaders Network. We share presenters and people with expertise. And also in those, if you are a member of any of these associations, you get 50% off Ed Leaders Network. Now in Illinois, of course, we've got a special relationship with the Illinois State Board of Education that provides free Ed Leaders Network access to all public school educators. So that's important. The word free here is very important as you're thinking about this new tool. Let's log in to the learning management system so I can demonstrate some of the new features that just came out this year. Type in my login right quick. Oh, there it was. And Vicki, was there anything else you wanted to add just at the top of the presentation?
No, I just think that as you look at this, make sure that you realize that you're going to have access to all these features as an educator in the state of Illinois, including being able to develop your own professional development on this platform. And you'll have access to everything that we're going to show you today free, even the content that's in here, and you have the ability to use the LMS platform free to develop your own.
Yes, free is the operative word here as we're looking through. So when you first get logged in, it's going to push you into the learning management system because we figure that's where people are wanting to go first to get the professional development that they need. You land in a place called My Learning, and it starts out with your overdue presentations. You can see I was assigned these presentations several hundred days ago. I still have yet to complete. I don't know what I've been doing, but I've definitely not been working on these two presentations. Below that, you can see your next up. These have been assigned to you, but do not have a due date, or the due date is not passed. And below next up is called optional. And these are courses that I have searched for in the Learning Library and registered for, and so they will appear here as a quick link to get me back to where I left off. As you can see, you can visualize how far I've gotten in each of these courses. So for this one, I'm halfway done. And for this one, I'm just now getting started, just very little into the course. But the nice thing is, if I wanted to jump back where I left off, I could do so from here. And you can see here's the progression bar at the top. Again, I'm halfway done. And so I don't have to worry if these presentations, if I get interrupted or if they're a bit too long for the amount of time I have, I can always jump back to where I left off. Over on the left-hand side, underneath My Learning, is the Learning Library. This is where all of the presentations are stored. And this is where you'll be doing a lot of your searching. As I said, this time of year, mandated training, very popular. If I search for mandated training, I get those. Actually, the better search term is state mandated. That's going to pull up a ton of our presentations. I believe we've got about 25 presentations in here that are focused on the mandates.
And I think probably something to be noted here is that these mandated trainings are the ones that your teachers would take or educators would take to meet those requirements for your school. And again, these are free to schools, so you don't have to. And I know many of you are paying for those right now.
Yeah, there's a couple of other I've heard online providers. Global Compliance Network is one of them. But many schools right now are paying to get these mandated trainings done when they don't have to, when they can get us their district rosters. We get those uploaded and you can have free access to these mandates.
And presently we have about 70,000 users in here. I don't know how many schools total now.
School districts around 300.
Around 300.
Yeah.
And it's, it's our intention to, it's offered to everybody in the state, so it would be nice. We'd like to make that 800.
Yeah, get up to that 850 and get full usage out of it.
Because with resources and money as tight as they are in the state of Illinois, we just see this as a really good way for schools not to have to spend extra dollars on things they don't have to.
Exactly. So after I've done my search, it's going to default to date added. The newest is going to be at the top. But if I wanted to switch to an alphabetical list, I could do that here from the sort. And I could reverse it, and I could even do it by shortest to longest duration.
Right, and just an FYI here, some of these, we have split these up into very short video clippets. So they're a little different than they used to be on the old BrainShark site that we had. And there are course guides that go with them, but since they're mandated trainings, you don't get professional development hours, so we don't require those to be done. So normally, and we see the people that have been in there and take these, it's about 15 minutes to complete these.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. We've got the estimated time up here on the right-hand corner. There's also some filters. You can filter by course, program. Program is just a bundle of individual courses, even some live training. We try to do one a month. So you can filter by that. You can also filter by your status and duration, and then whether or not it has a certificate or is a SCORM file. We have yet to create any SCORM content. As you'll see, we just use the built-in authoring tool. There's also the tag library over here on the right-hand side. So I can, if I'm looking for the food allergy training, I can click that. Now, if I was looking for the ADD training, I could click that, and as you can see, it just filters over here on the left. And if I want to get rid of these tags, I can click on them again, and that will turn them off. Let's clear this search and jump into one of our latest presentations. This is one called PLC's Part 2. As you can see, this is a much longer course, 240 minutes estimated to complete it, and you'll see why these are a little bit longer, because of the rigor that is involved and the engagement that's involved.
And those longer courses, you actually can earn PD hours towards your certification, recertification in your Ellis system. And the nice thing about this, again, these are free.
Yes.
You know, so your teachers, we've actually had several of our educators send us notes back and say, you know, thank you for these. I can do them online at home. I don't have to have a substitute. I don't have to leave the building, and I can do them at home with my feet up in the recliner. So,
right.
So you know, that's best of all worlds. You know, you're earning and it's free.
Yep.
You know, and it's free.
So here's what we call our title slide, where you can learn a little bit more. You can see who is the presenter for this, and a quick paragraph on what you will learn once you join the course. Always the first thing you will see is the materials and outcomes. As Vicki said, these are work professional development. The Illinois Principals Association is an approved provider of PD hours, so you can get 4 o'clock hours for the completion of this. Completion involves viewing the videos, completing all the quizzes with 80% accuracy, and completing and saving the course guide, including the reflective activities, learning activities, and implementation plan. Just below those instructions is the course guide. Let me click on that and show you what that looks like. It is a Google Doc. We found that so many schools have switched over to Google rather than Microsoft, that we decided to build all of these course guides as Google Docs. That way you can save it to your drive and save your own copy, or it does have the option, if you don't have a Google account, you can download it as a Word document and work on it that way. Or if you prefer the old-fashioned pen and paper, you can print these out and work on them that way as well.
And teachers and educators need just to keep those as proof of completion if they're ever audited for their PD hours.
Exactly. All right, so we've got the course guide open. Here's the instructions about how to save the course guide locally. And then the other thing is we align all of this professional development to learning outcomes. We want you to know up front, these are adult learners. They need to know what are they going to be able to do after they complete this training. So you can see this course is aligned to these 4 outcomes here. And as we go through the training, you'll see where these outcomes come into play and are directly aligned with the video.
Right, and the other thing, we make sure that we're aligning those to the Danielson, if that particular thing goes with it, with PD, with professional development standards. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that we try to also, because of that, we try to make sure that when somebody sits down to do this, that they end up with some kind of a authentic product when they get done that they can go back and apply immediately after they get back into their classroom or back into their school. So it's a matter of, you're not wasting your time when you're doing these, because we're hoping that you gain a skill or something that you can try immediately when you get back to your building or your classroom.
That's right. At the end of each of these sections, the learner lists the strategies. Here we go. Implementation strategies that are related to each learning outcome. And then at the end, as Vicki was saying, you're going to have a full implementation plan where you take the strategies that you listed as you were going through the course, and then get serious about timelines, resources, impact, and status. And all that gets done at the end.
Right, and you actually are building that implementation plan throughout the whole course, so you don't have to wait to the end to do that.
Exactly. Here's an implementation activity that we were talking about. This just kind of lets you know that this is coming, and some quick directions on how to handle that. Section 1 is going to be all about current collaborative culture and team structures. And here's all of the main content sections. This is a big section all the way to 1G. So that just gives people a heads up about what they're going to learn in the different sections. And finally, here you get to some video. Here's a quick sentence at the top that tells you what this video is going to be about and lets you know how long this video will take to play. And then this is the connection to the course guides, the reflective activity. As you can see here, in your course guide, please respond to the following. What would you ask to be a part of your guiding coalition? I'm sorry, who would you ask to be a part of your guiding coalition? What roles and responsibilities would they have? And a second one, realistically, what initial percentage of support to become a PLC might you expect? And here's the video. We use Vimeo as a hosting service because I'll play a little bit of this with the sound down. Oh, this one hasn't been closed captioned yet.
Yeah.
We are working hard to get closed captioning on all of our videos. I think about 90% of them have the closed captioning done. This one we're still working on, but there'd be a little CC you could click here to have the text appear on the screen. And at the very bottom, here's the outcome that this video is aligned to. So let's say we watch that video, we go back to our course guide. We'll have to scroll back to the top to get to our section 1 reflective questions. (1E). This is a big course. Here we go.
It is a big course.
So here we go. This is where I would identify who I'd ask to be a part of the guiding coalition and what initial percentage of support. And I can type right into this box. I'll delete that since this is our live version. I'm logged into Google, so I have access to edit this, but if I was a real user, I'd have to make a copy of this in my local drive. All right, so let's continue on. We've listened to that part. We've completed our reflective question. Here is a quiz. Which of the following defines a key concept of a PLC? Let's see, a continuous cycle of collective inquiry and action research, continuous job-embedded learning for educators, results-oriented teacher and administrator collaboration. I'm going to guess all of the above. Way to go. I got it right. I was really sweating that one. There's a lot of options there. So you get it right, and as we said in the beginning of this course, you've got to get 80% or better. These quizzes are not meant to hang people up or be overly difficult. They're really just to show that you did watch the previous video. And now I move on to section 1B, and again, gives me a sentence, gives me a reflective activity, and down below is the video. Vicki, any additional thoughts on the courses and the way that they're structured?
No, and one of the parts in the structure is what we haven't shown you here is that the quizzes, the quizzes are between 5 and 10 questions for the whole quiz. And these particular courses, you can earn anywhere from 2 to 6 hours depending. So the links you can check at the very beginning when you look to see how long they're going to be. The other thing I think you need to know is we also pull in additional resources in these, and we call them learning resources. And they are actually for continuing learning beyond what the presenter is giving you. So we have the ability in these particular courses to embed YouTube videos and Vimeo and a host of other things.
Yeah, here's an example. Using this additional handout that we've building a collaborative culture. You can open that up and it'll download this handout for you. And this is the way that we embed those outside resources.
Right, so there's a bunch of those. So we actually can have a lot of different ways that we can pull in things and help extend the learning if the learner needs to know more or needs to go off on their own to learn some more. When you're finished with the course, you will actually end up with a certificate, which will tell you that you've completed it, and that goes in your records along with your course guide, and it'll also tell you whether you passed your 80% of your quizzes. So you have 3 pieces of evidence to show that you completed this.
And if you don't pass them the first time, you can immediately retake the course. We do give at this time indefinite amounts of times that you could retake to complete it. So we're not trying to hold anybody back from getting PD, but we just want to make sure as best we can that people aren't gaming this system.
And eventually down the line, especially with the leadership professional development that we're trying to do, is that, you know, we may even build in things like pre-activities and self-assessments and a lot of the other things that you could do to make sure do self-checks as you go along. And those also are additional pieces of evidence. We are exploring online asynchronous academies, but those we have not gotten approved through the state board yet.
Yeah, we're hopeful because these courses are really based on the Administrator Academy structure, where you've got, you know, a lot of reflection going on, and you've got an implementation plan at the end. So if they meet the hour requirements, we were hopeful that ISB would approve them to be administrator academies.
I think the exciting part about this is that you have access to, we have approximately 50 pieces of content up there, and it's our intention to add 4 to 5 new pieces every month, or quicker if we can. It takes a while to build these courses. The other piece of this that Arlin's going to talk to you about is your ability to create your own PD on here, but also show you the user management system behind this. This is one of the reasons why we chose this particular LMS. The user management and how you can look at reports of who's taken courses, what they've done, is completely, it's a 200% better than the old platform that we had.
Yep, that's what we're going to go to next. This switch to admin role, a lot of users will not see this down in the lower left, but if you have been given admin access, and we do that at the district level and at the school level, and it's a flow down. So at the district level, I can peek down and go into the school level. But then at the school level, I'm a manager simply of my school. So if I'm a manager, I can click this, and I'll switch to the admin role. Insights is the first page I get taken to. This just gives me some details and some data to look at. As you can see, I've got 73,000 overdue learners and 4,208 completed learners. What this is calculating is there is a welcome to ELN course that everybody gets assigned the moment that they get an account with EdLeaders Network. So that means I've still got this many people who have yet to complete the Welcome to ELN course. I'm sure a lot of people will never complete it if they feel like they already know everything they need to know. But we wanted to put that together for first-time users. Now this shows my active users. As Vicki mentioned, we've got 71,286 learners in ELN, and right now 5613 of them are active. That means that they have logged in and viewed a course.
And you need to remember that this number reflects everything that's been done since July. Well, when do we go live?
Yeah, let's see when this is. Yeah, actually this one's start all the way back to June.
Yeah.
So this is 90 days.
Yeah, we've only had this up going 90 days, and they've been adding users as fast as they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. This is a fun one. This is average procrastination. This is how many days when I assign a course does it take the user to complete it? And it looked like the average is 7 days, so not too bad. And then you can see we've got a bunch of people get it done right away, and a few it takes them several days. Obviously for me, it's taken over 200 days to complete some of my assignments. Number of hours spent on learning, already our people have spent 3,400 hours on learning, and the most active day of the week is a Tuesday. Here's the device distribution. 94% are joining us on a desktop or laptop, 2% on a tablet, and 4% on the phone. The site is very mobile friendly, so it's very easy to complete these courses on your phone. All right, let's move over to the training tab on the left-hand side and look at courses. This is where, as a manager of my school or district, I would come in to assign courses. So if I like this PLC Part 2 and I thought that my staff should see it, I could click on Groups, add a new group, and find my learners. I think I've got some IPA people. Here we go. If I click this, this will send an email notification out to everybody in my group and say that you have been assigned PLC Part 2. And then I could click the email and log into EdLeaders Network and go directly to the course. If I thought that there was a single learner who would benefit from this, maybe I'm at the district level and I've got a school that needs to implement PLCs, I could add individual learners. So if I wanted to add Vicki to this, she might already be in it. I could type her name. There she is. I click on Vicki, same thing happens. Email notification goes out to Vicki, and I'm actually going to assign this to you, Vicki.
Thanks.
One more thing. The nice thing about this is the due date that can be picked. So let's see. So we got Vicki up there. Oh, here we go. Assigned it to you twice. You can set it as no due date, or you can pick, whoop, where did she go? Let me search her. Might be too late. I might have hit enter too fast. There we go. Or I can pick a due date. Calendar pops up, and I'm going to give Vicki till next week to get that done. That's a long course to complete in a week, Vicki.
It ain't happening.
So say I'm sitting with the person who I've assigned it to, and they say, I can't handle this. You can change the due date, or I'm just going to delete it from her My Learning. So now Vicki does not have to complete that course.
Thank you.
That'll make life easier. This is where, okay, let me go back to courses. That's how you assign. This is also where you create. All managers at the district and school level will have access to this new course button, which puts them right into the authoring tool. So let's give this a course a title. I'm just going to put test title so Vicki knows she can delete this later. Here's the slide title. Let's say I'm going to do something on teacher evaluation on this slide. Here's where I can add text. I can add links. I want to hyperlink this up. I just go to the little chain icon. I'll just link it back to the website. Apply it. There's a link for you. And now I want to go out to YouTube and find my teacher evaluation video. Maybe something from Charlotte Danielson. You do have to be able to spell. That's a prerequisite. Here we go. Here's a video by Charlotte Danielson, about 30 minutes long, making teacher evaluations meaningful. This looks like a keynote address. This is more in line with the type of videos that we try to go for, which is something short, around 2 minutes. So I'm actually going to grab this one. This is a teacher evaluation simulation, it looks like. I grab the link. Head back over to Bridge. Go over to my media icon. Paste the link. And voila, here is my video, my piece of content for this. So that's just one of many things that you can do to create content.
And you also have the ability to upload your own videos in here, and now they would actually upload, embed, and then convert themselves. So it takes a little longer to do that. So,
yeah, if you've got a video sitting on your computer, you can click that Add Media link, and rather than pasting a YouTube URL, you can browse and choose a file. And YouTube isn't the only provider. Vimeo has opened up. TED Talks is opened up. There's I don't know, there's probably more than 50 different sites that you can embed straight into.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, all kinds of different things,
All right, so now let's say I wanted to add a new content slide. I could click that over here on the left. And here's my section 2. And same thing here. I can add any text, links, or video. There also is a comment feature on the far right. You can turn this on. And we turn this on towards the end. If anybody has additional links or details to share around this particular slide or topic, they can do so in the comments. And another thing I want to add is a quiz question. 2 different types of quizzes: smart quizzes, which we are not smart enough to figure out. These are very complicated, so we stick to traditional quizzes. And let's say I want to do a sorting. Okay, I'm going to do teacher evaluation steps. And then down here I can do the pre-meeting evaluation, and then post-meeting. So this is real challenging. So I put the steps in the order that they should be in right here for my quiz. And now when I'm ready, oh shoot, my mouse. There it is, it's back, okay. Almost lost control of my mouse. Now when I'm ready to view this course, I click on this little eye up in the top to toggle preview. And let me go back actually to the beginning so you can see what this whole thing looks like put together. Okay, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to toggle preview, and I can preview it on a laptop size screen, on an iPad or a tablet size screen, and on the phone, what each of these look like. We'll do it full view here for our audience today. Here's the links. You can see now that's clickable. It would jump me right out to the edleadersnetwork.org site. Here's my video, which I just click play on. It plays right here on the page. And when I'm done with that video, I go to next. This is that section 2 that we didn't put anything into. And finally, the teacher evaluation steps. I have to put these in order, so I just drag them around. We've got our pre-meeting, evaluation, post-meeting. That looks good, and that's correct. And that's how simple it is. In about 5 minutes there, how simple it is to build a course. When I'm ready, I can publish my course. We're not going to do that here today. We'll actually delete this. Now, the trick is, when you're done with your course at the local level, it is not going to appear in the Learning Library. This button is actually going to be grayed out for our managers. And that is because we don't want just anything being put into the official ELN library that 71,000 users have access to. It would have to go through our vetting process. We would welcome new additions to the library, but it would have to go through us taking a look at it and making sure it met the rigor and standard that we've got for all ELN content.
And we have templates to help school districts with that. And we also have the ability to assign somebody to help you build the first couple of courses if you need to help make sure that you're not struggling and trying to figure out what we want. We'll help you do that.
So once the course is built on the local side, you'll click Learners. If you want to add, again, I can put Vicki in here and add her to this course. If I wanted to do my full group, I would click Add Group. Now let me jump to talk more about groups. By default, every district and every school that sends us their roster will have a group. However, you can click on the people icon over here and create even smaller groups. By doing that, you just go up to New Group, and you can add a new group where you manually add and remove people, or you can do a smart group. And I'll show you what a smart group does. You can select an attribute like job title. Let's search for a value like teacher. Sounds good. That means anybody in my group that's got the job title of teacher is going to appear on this list. So there's only one, so that's not a very big group. But I could search through and try and find, there's staff, there we go. And then every time somebody new is added to ELN, if they've got this value completed, it will add them to the smart group. And when I'm done, I just hit save. I'm going to reset this, and I'm not going to save this group. I don't think it's saved yet. Okay. And the second way is to do it manually. This is an untitled group, and I would just put, if I was going to put Vicki in, search for her. If I want to put myself in this group. So a couple different ways. Obviously, the faster way is the smart group. However, you may not always have the data you need to create that group. So we do have ways for principals to create finer detail at the school level, to create a math group or a literacy group. And then what's great about that is then you can assign them new content in math.
These features that we're showing you now are some things that the school districts have been asking for a long time from us. And
yeah.
So we did a pretty good job, I think, of looking for an LMS that would actually allow us to give those grouping rights and the reporting rights locally and be able to create your own content. I mean, you know, I had a district ask me, say, you know, what happens? We have a 5-year grant from the state board, so this is pretty stable right now. The whole platform is very stable, and it's the word free is attached to that grant, so that's that way for 5 years. And I always tell districts, I said, you know, you can use this for free. Why wouldn't you? And the other thing is if down the line you decide to go purchase your own, that's up to you guys. I mean, but at least you had some practice with, you know, what you would want or wouldn't want in an LMS for professional development. The other reason that we chose this platform is it is for personal professional development, and it's actually a corporate level platform. And we didn't need a lot of the stuff that you get with like the other LMSs that you use with your kids. This is actually a subgroup of the Canvas Corporation. The people that make Canvas took this off because they knew they didn't need a lot of those bells and whistles that we use for the kids.
Exactly. The final area of the LMS that I wanted to show you was the reporting area, because this is where, and it's under tools, this is where we had a lot of requests from users. We used to be able to show them what was completed, but we couldn't show them what wasn't completed. I forget what they call that.
Well, it was an incomplete or status. It's actually a status.
Yeah.
Where are you? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's several handy reports in here. The completed learners report is one where you'd see what everybody has done. Here we go. It's the incomplete learners report that you'd be want to set up. And you could do all time, or you could set a custom date range. And then it's going to show you what the learner's name is, which course, what their status is, and when the enrollment was. And now the nice thing you can do here is export this CSV. You can also fine tune it a little bit if you're searching for incomplete on a certain course or program. But you can export this CSV file and get everybody listed here and their email address, and then create a mass mail to send them and say, hey, we need to make sure that you get these courses completed. And I won't run that report now because it'd be rather large. Sign-in report just means who has signed in. That's why I give you some here. So we had over, on the 31st of August, we had over 1,000 users sign in, which that's pretty cool to take a look at that. And those are all the reports. The next place I want to show you before we sign off for the day is the community. As I mentioned in the beginning, there are discussions, blogs, and resources. We see this as a potentially very vibrant area, particularly for the state of Illinois, for being able to send push communications from ISB, and also have collaboration happen around regular items here in Illinois. So there's different communities. If I show you all of my communities, oh, I got to sign in again. Let's try that. Here we go. So I'm in several different communities. We've got an affiliate staff community, so we can talk about things, higher level things with ELN. We've got a presenters community. The ELN user community is the big one. As you can see, it's got over 71,000 members. But we also created an Illinois community, which you can see here has got 55,000 members. So let's jump into that one. We can take a look at the latest activity. So there was quite a well-discussed item here around accelerated reading. And if you already have ELN access, you might be accustomed to getting what's called the daily digest. And that means every time an email is posted, no matter how many get posted that day, you're only going to get one email, and it's going to contain the digest. But here you can see there was lots of discussion around the AR programs that the original post, I believe, let's see. And so that's the last post. There's been 12 comments on this. So you can just kind of see the professional learning that's going on here. And just a simple question, I'd like to get people's opinions on the accelerated reading program. Do you have it in your school? If so, how long does it work? Give me the pros and cons. And 12 different people from this Illinois community reached out and provided some information, which is exactly how we'd want to see it used. If you wanted to post your own message, you could go to Engage, post a message. First, you have to select the discussion. Do I want this just to go to Illinois, or do I want this to go to the all-member community? So let's continue with our teacher evaluation theme. You give it a subject, and it's just like typing in an email. Does anybody have any good teacher evaluation tools? So just a simple question like this will go out to 55,000 users in Illinois, and as you can see, you can get multiple responses and kind of get a pulse of what's being used out there. Other ways to engage, you can share a file. That's okay, I don't want to send it. Pretty straightforward. Give your file a title, description, choose what library you want it to go in. Do you want this to go in the all members library or some other specific community? And then you do the upload. And then you can post to your blog. This has got a built-in blogging platform. We have not had a lot of people do this, but it's pretty straightforward. You give it a title, your blog entry, and then down below is the usual WYSIWYG editor that you're used to when typing an email or a Word document. And then this blog would get posted. If I go to the home page, right here at the top. So the one that we've got showing here is the new leader webinar recordings for the previous school year, but anybody's blog would then show up right here, and then it could be viewed by any user that just so happens to come over to the community. All right, so that concludes my portion of the webinar today. Vicki, any final thoughts for our viewers?
No, and just remember we're here, and that everybody in the state of Illinois has access to this, and I just like to see, goes along with the IlliniCloud things for schools, and it's free for schools. So, yeah.
Any questions from the audience?
Well, great. We've had, so Arlin and Vicki, thank you for that. I think that was a very comprehensive overview of the great offering you have. We have some questions that are coming through the chat line. The first one is, do IPA members just use their IPA login/password to connect?
That is now true. What we did over this past summer was merge the ELN and IPA database. So now your IPA login will work for ELN and vice versa. It's essentially the same record. So yes, your IPA email address and your IPA password is what you can use to log in to ELN.
Right, that's that single sign-on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great dovetail into the, I think, second part of the same kind of theme. Does IPA have plans for connecting local district administrator credentials to provide single sign-on other than Google? Providers such as ClassLink, Clever, etc.
That's not currently on our roadmap. We do have Google on the roadmap. That is actually not even in place yet, but it's part of our talks with ISB to integrate with Ed360. And Ed360 uses a Google single sign-on. So that's our next one on the horizon, is to create a Google SSO. But we would definitely be interested in finding out more about those other platforms and if we could do an integration. Because it seems it is possible now for us to integrate quite deeply in these other different user accounts. So yeah, save that question for me.
Right, and the other thing I think everybody needs to know is this single sign-on, they've been working on it all summer, and so they're getting there, and we're in the throes of getting everything working correctly. So it could easily be put on our roadmap for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Next question: what's the cost for users in other states to use this service?
Very good question. So if you are just subscribing a single person, it's $99 a year for an affiliate association member. If you're not a member of your principals association, it's $199 a year. And then we also have group subscription pricing, so you have to have at least 10 users to count for a group. And if it starts at, I think, at 10 to 19 users, it's about $29.50 if your principal's a member of their affiliate association, $29.50 per person. If you get up over 100 users in your user group, it scales down to $19.50 per person.
Okay, great. I think that answers the second part of the question, and that was, do states with principal association orgs get a discount? So sounds like they do, and there is some volume pricing as well.
And if they're not affiliate members of ours, they can get a hold of us, and they could become their professional organizations can become affiliate members, right?
Okay, great. Next question, more of a technology question. What infrastructure does the app sit on?
It sits on a Bridge
Learning Management System.
Right, and it's by Instruct.
Instructure.
Yeah,
Instructure. Name of the company. They do, Canvas is pretty familiar, I think, with a lot of higher ed uses Canvas, and some school districts use Canvas. This is their adult or corporate learning platform, and it's called Bridge.
It's adult, they're adult person, yeah.
The website that you're looking at, the front-facing website sits on a WordPress site, and then we use NetForum Enterprise as our database. We use those three tools to get the job done. And then back on the community side of things, this sits on a site called Higher Logic. So it is, in a sense, 4 different pieces of software tied together in a single sign-on created to create the whole ELN experience.
Great. Next question. As district technology leaders, beyond sharing this webinar with administrators that we serve, is there anyone else or anything else that we can do to help IPA drive admins to these great resources? Work with all administrators, so message you would like us to share. This supplants X or assists leaderships with Y. And if you want to kind of read the questions yourselves, you can just open up the chat window and they're there. I know I'm reading fast through them.
No, that's fine. I think the hook for a lot of districts has been the mandated training. So many school districts are using Global Compliance Network to do mandated training, while all the while we've got Ed Leaders Network sitting here for them for free. That includes all of the state mandates, but above and beyond that, as Vicki says, we're working to put 4 to 5 new professional development courses online every month. So really the value grows and grows the longer you stay connected to Ed Leaders Network.
Well, and I think the other thing is that with on the principal manager end of it, that they have the ability to assign things to their teachers. So if they're doing evaluations and they feel their teachers need a little more training in how to do better questioning, they can assign those and then then they actually can track. I don't want to use the word track. They can monitor what they are actually doing and how they're getting along with it, and they can tell whether they completed the task. Pretty easy to check. Yeah.
And with a lot of school districts looking at not much money for Title II dollars, this is a perfect way to still provide professional development hours for your teachers, and it's needed for recertification.
Right.
And it's free. So with the tightening up of budgets, I think this is a no-brainer. Right. To get over here and take a look at what we've got.
And we are working really hard to maintain. All the old ELN content that was up was vetted, cleaned out, and we started from scratch. And we are building these things. We want to make sure that it's quality and it's worth doing when people go to it.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question. Most districts have all this user information in their Active Directories delineated by role, building, and other requirements ELN needs for adding users/groups in the app. Are you open to piloting automation of this information from a district directly into or to ELN in real time, thus reducing the burden on administrators and allowing them to match ever-changing personnel in their buildings automatically?
Yeah, I think we're definitely open to that. What we'd have to look at is we obviously can't do an SSO or a single sign-on with every school district.
Well, I think you're looking at an automated web service is what they're looking for, and that's really something that that's that automatic. They can upload from their end automatically, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the way that we get things done now is a little archaic. I mean, it's a spreadsheet that you fill out, and we've got a template. Actually, let me go show everyone where that's at. If you click on the join page for ELN, down here there's some information for Illinois specific, where we talk about the free access. And here's where you can download the spreadsheet. It actually sits on IPA's website. But it's pretty straightforward in what is needed. It's the best thing we have going for us right now, but we'd definitely be interested in finding out a way that this could be automated. This is the information we need essentially. And you can take a look at that and see, what you think could be done.
And the answer is down the line. That's one thing that is on the roadmap. That it's an automated upload. Yeah. Yeah, and we're talking with ISB too. If we can get this connected to not only Ed 360 but Ellis itself, that the rostering may be a lot easier. We may be able to take the rostering information directly from ISB, and that would even bypass the districts from having to do anything. They just have to opt in. Yeah, because one of the things that we would like to have done, and of course this is in the next couple of years, is that when a person takes a course, that it automatically goes over and populates the Ellis system, so that you don't have to physically log in, do the, you know, put what you've done and completed in ELN automatically into Ellis. Right?
Yeah, we're definitely looking at trying to get it all connected and close the whole loop when it comes to PD.
Okay, I think the next is a comment, but it's kind of an alternate to some of the potential solutions that you just talked about. So Canvas does SSO integration with SAML shibboleth, allowing for you to get more than just SSO credentials passed. You can also get group memberships, building, etc. I think what this is talking to is SAML is a protocol that if you're not familiar with, allows more than just single sign-on. It also allows you to pass in the SAML envelope additional and extensible data. So if you needed things like these records that you're displaying require or would like to have as optional, SAML does support that natively.
Yeah, we've got a SAML integration between our NetForum Enterprise Database and Bridge. That was built on a SAML SSO.
Great.
So yeah, we know how to do it at the very least.
Perfect. Other questions? If not, Arlin, Vicki, thank you so much for taking us through this today and answering our questions. I'm very impressed with what I've seen here, and looking forward to staying connected.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.